Hi there. For quiz 1, there were 2 versions, with each version having a different part. So this is one of the parts. I'm going to go ahead and create the solution for this one, and I'll create the solution for the other part in a separate video. All right, so this part has horizontal symmetry, so I'm going to go ahead and create a horizontal center line, and then there is a center point slot here and a center point arc. So I'll put those 2 pieces in, and then from this center point back 187 is this vertical line, and then up 90 is the location of this hole. So, and then the width of these lines is 156 with an angle of 30. So I'm going to go ahead and sort of put it together in that fashion. So let me go ahead and I'll create a new part. My default dimension is inch/pound/second, so I'm going to set this to millimeters, and I'll go ahead and create a new sketch, and I'll start on the front plane. So I'm going to go here and get a center line, make it horizontal. For construction, I'll set it to being infinite length, and I'll select the origin of the sketch. And then I'll say OK, and then exit out of it. So I'm going to use a center point arc. So I'll select my center point, and I'll select here and come down over here. Now there is symmetry here, so I might as well use it. So I'll just select this point here, the horizontal line, and this point here, and make it symmetric. All right, and we're given the radius here as being 156, and that should be almost fully defined. In other words, I don't have the total distance here, or how high the arc is, but everything else is specified. So let me go ahead and put in the slot. So that's a center point slot. So again, selecting the center point, coming up here. And you see sometimes when you go off in this direction, it doesn't want to. So if you come back and then kind of drag again, it'll usually flip for you. All right, so I forgot to get my width of my slot. And then I'll go out. Okay, so the radius for this one, if I go ahead and put it in, is a radius of 104. The diameter of the slot is 19.5. And we actually have the distance between these 2 points, so I can put this one in and select here, and that'll make that 156. I can see that I'm still not fully defined, and what's happening here is its center point is not actually on the center line, so I can just take this and drag it down until I'm coincident with the center line. And then, of course, well, I should then be fully defined. All right, so from the center point here to this line is 187, and this is symmetric, so I'm going to use a midpoint line. And I'll just drop it back here somewhere and come up to another distance. So I'll go put my smart dimension in here as 125. And then I'll make the distance from the center point to this being, what was it, 187. All right, so now there's 2 lines coming off of it, and then they go off at a 30-degree angle and connect up to my line here. So I'm just going to go ahead, come across, and go up to that point. So this line, memory serves, is 156, and the angle is 30 degrees. So I'll select here for 156, and then select this line and that line and drag it out to get my angle of 30 degrees. Do the same thing on the bottom. And in this case, I'm going to use symmetry again. So I'm not going to worry about where those lines are. I'll just select this line, hold down my control key in this line, make those symmetric, and then I'll select this, this, and this, and make those symmetric as well. And that should tie everything together. All right, I need to put my hole in here. So let's select a circle, drop that in here, and the diameter of the circle is 83, and it's over 90. So we'll select the circle and the back and put in that 90 dimension, and then the diameter is 83. And then the last thing we need to do is there's 4 fillets, all of radius 20, here, 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 and here. So I'll go ahead and use my sketch fillet tool. I'll set the dimension to 20. And then I'll go ahead and select this one. So now again I get a warning that the segment being filleted has a midpoint, right? This is the midpoint constraint. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to select this one at the same time, so that'll maintain the symmetry. And then I'll select this one and say OK. So in doing that, I wanted to verify that I haven't unspecified my my drawing here, so everything is fully defined. Okay, so now we want to extrude the part. So I pull up what the quiz was. The quiz said the distance was 28 millimeters. So I'm in Sketch, so I'll just go to Features, Extruded Boss, set the distance to 28 millimeters. I already had that preset, and I'll select OK. So now if I go to my Evaluate tab, all right, so we find out that the volume here is 1151769.93. And if I look at the solutions, we have 151769, and I left off the decimal places because it seems silly to put them on here. So this is the correct answer. All right, so then question 2 asked us to change these 2 diameters and change the extrude distance to 15. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to open up my extrude, go to my sketch, and select Edit Sketch. And in this case, setting this one to 205. And this distance here to 165. And I'll go ahead and get out of the sketch. Go back into my Boss Extrude and set the extrude distance to 15. And say OK. And then, so the solution that you would have had to enter in numerically was the surface area, correct? And that was 117,741.18 square millimeters. All right, so that's the answer to that quiz.